I'm just going to start for a minute here and thank you guys so much for coming to my session. It's really nice to see all your faces. I'm especially happy to see you guys because I'm no longer anonymous and have been out in the general public now for a couple of months. And my world has been spinning out of control. Can everybody hear me in the back okay? We good? Okay. No heckling back there. You know who I'm talking to. So yes, thank you so much for waiting. Sorry that we had some technical problems, but Norm and Chachi are my man, so thank you so much. So I think that we'll get started. What I'm really going to do today is just sort of tell you a little bit about me, Laura, and about the project. I know that there are a lot of you in the room here who already know about the Secret Agent L project. You've been following me for a while, and I really appreciate that. But just for some of you who may be new, may have just heard about the Secret Agent L project, I'm definitely going to tell you the whole story. And there might be some people watching at home, too, hi, who are sort of new to this as well. So this is for them. So bear with me if you've already been there, done that with me. So. Was there a hand mic somewhere?
There was.
Oh,
for lunch.
I see it.
Should be on.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Yes. Okay, excellent. So, the Secret Agent L project, social media and the kindness movement. So, mission number 1. It was supposed to say, meet Secret Agent L. I'm not suggesting that you go out and do this mission. Raise your hand if you got the joke. Okay, excellent. Okay, cool. All right, so I promise this really did look really awesome on my computer, but anyway. Okay, so first of all, I would like you to know 5 declassified stats about Secret Agent L. Okay, so I do have a day job. Unfortunately, I cannot be a full-time secret agent, which would be so cool if I could be, right? Oh my gosh. But I do have a day job. I work at Duquesne University in the history department. I'm the administrative assistant there, and I love my job. I get to interact with a whole bunch of different kinds of people. Students who I love. I'm a big proponent of education, so I get really excited when I get to meet. A lot of students come in and they need help with history major stuff, and they want to learn about our department and our programs. And so I'm sort of the first face that they see, so I get to tell them about what we have to offer, which is great. And then I get to learn about them too, which is really kind of my passion, is people, if you couldn't tell. So I feel really blessed to have this job. And I've been at Duquesne in this position for about 5 years, but I did my undergraduate work and my master's work there. So they kind of do call me Jane Duquesne. So people wave to me on campus, hey, Jane Duquesne, or they said, oh, did you hear about Jane Duquesne? So it's really wonderful to have the kind of rapport with people that I have there and to be a part of that community. It's an excellent community. So that is my day job. I just said I have a master's degree in English. I decided to get a master's degree because after I graduated with my undergrad degree, I was offered an opportunity out in the Midwest, in the Chicago area, to go be a model with the Ford Modeling Agency. And I thought, okay, well, I love Pittsburgh. I don't really want to leave, but when Ford Models says, come to us, you go. So I picked up my whole life, and I moved out to the Midwest, and was there for a couple of years and had the worst 2 years of my life. I didn't get any work in the industry. I worked in retail. I also bagged candy at the Jelly Belly factory, which is north of Chicago in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. That was awesome. I'm like, hey, Mom and Dad, remember that time you spent a lot of money on my education and then I bagged jelly beans? And they were like, we still love you, but we might change the locks. Okay. So I thought, you know what, this isn't worth it. Life is too short. I went out and I tried it. I was really proud of myself. I lived among the cornfields of Wisconsin, outside of Chicago. And after 2 years, I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm leaving. So I decided to return to Pittsburgh, but the job market was so bad, and the only way I could get back is if I went to graduate school. So I applied at the very last minute to Duquesne's graduate English program because I love to read. Note, that is not a good reason to go to graduate school. Okay. There was much gouging of the eyes and much weeping. And I didn't tell my parents until I actually got the acceptance letter. And I called them from the cornfields of Wisconsin and I said, I'm coming home. Have the locks been changed? I got into graduate school. So I returned to Pittsburgh happily, so happily, with many joyous tears in my eyes, because this is undoubtedly the place I love most, and this truly, truly is my home. So I returned and I got my master's, and it took me 5 years, oh my goodness, while I worked full-time in the history department. And again, do not go to graduate school for literature just because you like to read. Okay. I love people more than puppies, more than shoes, more than handbags. But I do love puppies, but I love people most. That's probably the thing that I want you to take away from my session the most. I want to inspire you today. I hope I can make you laugh, of course. But what I really want is to inspire you. And I think that when we start looking at each other and realizing just how absolutely irreplaceable each one of us is, I think that makes this whole PodCamp experience that much more powerful. And I feel like I was put on this earth to work with people in the most genuine sense of the term. So I love you. Also, I like music a lot. My secret agent identity is not the only thing that I do on the side. I do play the piano, the cello, and the flute. I did want to go to Juilliard for piano performance, but I totally chickened out because I love music so much that I didn't want to sit in a practice room for 12 hours a day making it perfect for someone else. So it's a hit at parties, and when I go home to my parents' house, my dad, who is also a musician, he's played with 2 symphonies, and he plays the piano and the violin. He will run to the piano when I get there, and I'll run, and we'll have a race to see who can get there first, because they have a beautiful Petroff grand piano in the living room, and so we fight over it. There was another number 5. Where did it go? Me. Well, I think I remember what it is. I think, yeah, okay, it's gone. I wanted to tell you, which I've already mentioned, is that I am a model. I'm also a professional actor. I've been in the industry for about 13 years. You may have seen me in print campaigns. I did some commercials, one for First Niagara Bank. I don't know if you guys remember the commercials they had where they were all very like stylized and period looking, and there was a girl in a boat and she was wearing a beret. That was me. Hardest audition of my life. No, I just kind of showed up. And yeah, that day it was like 90 degrees out, and they're like, here, put on this wool beret on your head where the heat escapes. That's great. So yeah, and I do that, but I've tried to keep that part of my life sort of hush-hush until now, only because I didn't want people thinking that with the Secret Agent L project that I was trying to advance that part of my career. I've actually taken a significant step back from the acting and the modeling because I just feel like giving and kindness is way more important, and that's really where my heart is. If I can do a runway show every now and then, or a print job to make a little bit of extra money to help pay the rent or to further the project, I'll do it. But it's definitely not the career that I'm leaning towards like I used to. So, okay, so wow, this is awesome. Mission number 2 was going to be, what is the Secret Agent L project? Okay, so for those of you who are just now learning about the Secret Agent L project, the Secret Agent L project is a project where I started out as an anonymous secret agent, as opposed to a non-anonymous secret agent, and I would go around the city of Pittsburgh, and I would just leave little gifts for people, because I felt like there were a lot of people who were walking around heavy. They were feeling like they had burdens on them. They were carrying hurt, and I just felt like I could sense that, and I wanted to try to help that a little bit. So I thought, okay, what if I just randomly pick someone? I don't know who it's going to be. I'm going to leave this little gift in a public area. $5 or less. I'm going to see how this goes over. Or free. Any little moment that would shake someone out of their autopilot to let them know that there's someone out there, me, who wants them to be okay, who wants them to feel like they're not alone, who wants them to feel like they matter. And it doesn't take a lot of money to do that, and thank goodness, because I work in academia, so I have the tiniest paycheck ever. And I started leaving these little gifts around places. And I would also include a little anonymous note indicating the reason for the gift, along with my little business card. And in the note, depending on whatever it was that I was leaving around, I would try to tailor the note to it. So I didn't have like just a standard note that was like, here, this is for you. Bye-bye. I tried to make it witty. I do have an English degree, so I like words, and I tried to use that. And so it really started becoming very personal. Okay, well, the other note on that was that I would then post them to my website. And I would have the mission details. I would have the date that it occurred, the location, and the time. And then I'd write up like a little secret agent narrative. I would tell about the prep of the project, the prep of that special gift, why I chose it. I would talk about maybe any close calls that I had, which there have been plenty. People almost catching me, or me thinking that like the cops are going to come out of the woodwork because I'm putting something somewhere slightly suspiciously. And so I just decided to put this all on the website. And that was my secret Agent L mission. So how did all of this start? Well, I have a personal blog, and it's called With Love from Pittsburgh. And I haven't really advertised that too much just because, I don't know if you were in Pittsburgh's session, there's this interesting boundary of trying to have a persona out there and then also keeping some of your personal life private. So I didn't really tell many people about this, but I do have a blog. It's With Love from Pittsburgh. And I met another blogger friend who would read my blog and I would read hers. And she lived down in Texas. And her birthday was coming up. And I said, Toby, I totally want to send you a present for your birthday. She's like, no, I hate birthdays. They suck. I'm like, no, they're great, I promise. It's like the anniversary of the day you came to be. That's totally awesome. She's like, okay, well, don't send me anything. She said, why don't you go and do a random act of kindness in my name? I was like, oh my gosh, that means I don't have to go to the post office. Yes! So that was exciting. And she's like, you can call yourself Secret Agent L, all around swell chick and girl spy. I was like, oh my god, that's so exciting. Because I'm an actor, so I'm like, sweet, this is like a whole new role for me, right? But no one's actually going to know that it's me because it's secret. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So I was sitting in work one day at Duquesne University in the history department. It's the summer of July 2009. And my number 2, Vivian Croft, who was supposed to be here with me today, she's unable to be here, so hi from afar. She was actually my student aide. And she was sitting in the office with me, and I was like, Vivian, it's totally boring in the office today. Do you want to do something fun? You'll get paid for it. She was like, okay. So I said, look, I told her about this project. I'm like, I want to start this project where I'm like a secret agent and I go around and I do nice things for people. Do you want to do that too? She was like, okay, what do I do? I said, so I want you to go deface Duquesne's property. I want you to like rip up flowers, put them on people's cars. She was like, really? You want me to deface the... I'm like, yes, go deface the property because it's in the name of kindness. So I gave her the department camera. We made this little, you can see the little business card here. Made a little business card on my Microsoft Publisher because I'm so artistic. And I sent her out into the field. So she had the camera, she had the hydrangea, and the business card. And she put it on somebody's car windshield, and then she took pictures of it and she brought it back to me, and that was our very first mission. And she was like, oh my god, I thought I was going to get caught. There was somebody outside of the administration building, and they were by the car where I was trying to be. So I was hiding behind this bush, and it looked really, it was just really bad. I'm really glad to be back. And I was like, wow, it was a flower. Okay. So actually, my number 2 did the very first mission, and I always want to kind of make sure that people know that, because a lot of the media outlets lately have been saying, like, oh, you did this very first mission, and I'm like, well, not really. Vivian did. So I want to definitely give credit where credit is due. And I put it on the blog, and I told my friend Toby about it, whose fault this whole bloody thing is. And she submitted it to Curtsy. Now, have you guys ever heard of the website Curtsy? It's very cool. It's KIRSTY.com. And it's kind of a place on the web where you can go and learn about like what's hot on the web for the day. Good stories, good blog posts, whatever. Good websites. Well, after that, like 2 days later, my blog was officially on the map. And that is how the project started. So, for about a year, I'm really, no, that's not right. Oh, please hold. No, we did that one. Yeah, okay, that's not how it's supposed to go, but anyway, I'll just hit all the buttons. There we go, over on the left. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So at that time, I was giving this talk, and like everything was going horribly wrong. Okay, so let's just say this: it has grown tremendously. In 1 year, it's like the first 3 months that I was doing this, July 2009 to July 2010, when I was anonymous. I had like 100 affiliated agents who were people that had stumbled onto my blog, and they'd said like, oh, I totally want to do this. So I'd send them an email with all the instructions and like a PDF of the business card. And I'd be like, go do your missions and send them to me, and we'd put them on the website. So it was like this community building thing. But there were like 100 of them, which is awesome, right? 100 acts of kindness at least. Most of them were women, because we live in a culture where women are sort of, taught to be the caregivers and the protectors, all that. And they were from mostly America, maybe like 1 or 2 Canadians, so that's cool. When I revealed my identity at the identity reveal party that I had in July of this year, within 3 months after revealing my identity, I now have over 1,300 agents all over the world, everywhere from Denmark to Japan. More Canadians have gotten involved. Thank you, Canada. I even have an agent in Mongolia. Can you believe that? I got an email from somebody in Mongolia, and I was like, it shrunk the world to this point where I felt more connected than I'd ever felt, and it was all because of social media. It was all because of this blog. Twitter, I started using Twitter. But I have all these agents, and now I have men who are doing this, which is totally cool, because, dudes, it is like so sexy when you're nice. Totally sexy. And I also have gotten emails from young kids. I had an email recently from an 11-year-old, and she was like, I hope that I'm not too young. I hope there's not like an age limit, but I'm really nice and I really want to help spread kindness. Is that okay? My mom and dad said I could email you. Precious. So what has happened and how this has grown has been mind-blowing to me, because all I did was think like, oh yeah, I'll do some like nice stuff and put it on the web. Well, because of social media, the world has shrunk into this touchable, tangible entity where I am connecting, and subsequently all of you are connecting with each other in a way that I think is what most of us, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think what most of us really, really want in our lives is that good, connected feeling. Like we have worth, we matter, we can do great things, and it only takes one person and the internet. It's amazing. So, okay, let's see what else is going on here. Okay, yes, so I already talked about that. Okay, where is it funny? Oh, mission 3B, ho. I mean, mission number 1 was me. I promise you there is no correlation between me and ho. Okay. I'm a good Catholic girl, people. Good Catholic girl. Okay, so anyway, I already told you that this is how it happened. So I used Blogger, I used Twitter, I even used Facebook. And let me just tell you, those of you who know me well know that I am so anti-Facebook. I do not have a personal Facebook account under Laura Miller, nor will I ever. But people kept saying, like, no, you really need to get the product on Facebook. So the arm twisting began, and I decided to have a fan page. which I have found to be incredibly helpful and very, very useful. So Facebook, I take back almost every bad thing I've ever said about you, because it really has been a tremendous way for even more people to get involved in the project. Okay, so mission number 4, creating positive C. It should say creating positive change. Okay, so now we're going to try to the internet. I hope to God this works, because this is what I really want you guys to see. This is a YouTube clip that brings chills every time I see it. Oh wait, pause.
Just let them out.
I can't use a Mac. I don't know how to do this. No. Hi. I want to make it big. The video, Norm. The video. I gotta take a drink. I know my parents are probably watching it too. My very Catholic.
My parents are Lutheran, so it's...
Alright, it's nothing that ever happened between us. It's cool.
Is this the right video?
This is the right video, yeah, and I just need it to be like full screen, and yeah, that's good, and we need to start at the beginning because it's awesome. So this really inspires me, and I hope it inspires you too.
If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. And this morning, the thing that I like about it, by giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. Because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace.
Okay. Does anybody have chills? The first time I heard that, I'm a huge Martin Luther King Jr. fan. Yeah, thanks. But the first time I ever heard that, getting like a little verklempt, I felt like that was talking directly to me. And one of the things about working at Duquesne is we have this mission statement where basically it says we serve God by serving students. So feel free to replace God with Allah or the deity of your choice or not. But I feel like serving, like service to others, is what I was sort of put on this earth to do. So that clip, whenever I'm feeling like, oh, maybe the project isn't going the way I want to, or maybe I'm not doing it right, I look back at that clip and I think, you know what, I have a pulse, and I have a heart, and I hope that heart is filled with grace. Hello? Okay. And so I know then that I can keep going. And that's one of the things that's so powerful about this project, is that you don't have to have a college degree to go out and serve, and to be kind, and to give to others. You don't have to know anything about physics. You don't have to have an MBA. You don't have to have a high school degree. You don't have to have any of that. If you have a pulse and you want to feel joy, then go out and give. Go out and serve. And I promise you, no matter how small the act of kindness or service to others is, you will definitely be making a positive change in this world, and you will feel it inside of yourself. I get emails from people all the time that say, I thought I had to be really rich or really powerful, but I went out and I left $5 in an envelope, and it changed everything. Because I realized how simple it was. And it is, it's totally simple. I had an email from a lady who wrote to me recently. She was having a really bad day, and she usually goes to Starbucks in the morning to get her cup of coffee, but she had a fight with her husband. Her kids weren't behaving. They almost missed the bus. She got to work. Everything went wrong. So in the middle of the afternoon, she was like, you know what? Forget it. I didn't get to Starbucks this morning. I'm going to go now. Something just moved her to get in the car and go to Starbucks. When she got in the drive-thru and she pulled up to pay for her order, the person who was at the window handed her a card, like a greeting card, and on it it said, everything is going to be okay. And her drink was paid for by the person who had given the cashier that card. And she wrote to me and she said, you will never know what that single act of kindness did for me. I went home immediately after work. I kissed my husband. I realized how blessed I was that I had a family, that I had a husband who loved me, even though we were fighting over something stupid. But somebody reached out to me and paid for a drink and gave me a card, and it completely jolted me out of that autopilot. So you don't have to be powerful. You don't have to be educated. You just have to have a heart full of grace. So, now, mission 4A. So, you want to change, you want to have a positive change in the world. How do you find your voice to do that? Now, this is the tricky part for some people. One of the things that I had to do when I started this project was that I had to get seriously honest with myself. I really had to take a look deep in my gut, like my heart of hearts, and figure out what was that one thing that every morning when I got up spoke to me. It was that constant, like, on just replay in my head all the time, because that's the thing I want to tackle. That's going to be my mission. And I sort of say that with like a play on words, but sort of not. That's really going to be my mission in life. So I got seriously honest with myself, and I decided that that was going to be my mission. Letting people know that there is goodness in this world. And if it's got to start with me, then that's what's going to happen. The other thing you have to do is you have to get seriously courageous. So, I'm an actor, so I'm used to being in front of people. I'm a model, I'm used to being on a catwalk. But it's really scary standing up here right now, in a way, and even sort of being on a public platform now with this project, because I don't want the project to be about me. It's not. It's about kindness. I'm merely a facilitator. I'm just sort of like, I help it happen. I want kindness to be the star of the show, but it's taken some serious courage. Because, I've got issues. I've got baggage, just like we all do. I've got a ton of hurt in my heart as well. But I'm going to be really brave. And that's what you need to do. If you're going to go out and you're going to make a change, you got to be brave. You got to take risks. You got to know that there's going to be moments where it's not going to be easy. I've gotten hate mail. And I know some people are like, how can you get hate mail when you're spreading love? Okay, remember Jesus? Yeah, okay. I've gotten hate mail. And I have, no thick skin, right, at all. I don't do well with conflict. I want everyone to like me. So I get hate mail, and I read it, but it takes a lot of strength inside of me to realize that whatever is in me right at that moment, I need to redirect it. And that's scary, because you kind of want to dwell in that moment of no, somebody hates me, they hate the project, they hate what I'm doing. So you have to be brave. Take a deep breath. And if you can't do it today, you can always get up tomorrow morning and be brave again. Okay, and that's supposed to say get seriously honest with others. So this is also hard. I've had to talk to a lot of people. I've had to sit down in conversations or have email dialogues with them or phone conversations about the things that really matter to me and what I will and will not do under any circumstances. Some people have said to me, well, why aren't you sort of trying to tie in your acting and your modeling career with this, And I'm like, that's not the level of integrity that I want. And they're like, yeah, but you could there could be money and you could get more publicity. And I have to sit down and be really honest with them, and that's scary because, you don't want to disappoint people. But the courage, the honesty with myself, the honesty with other people, that is the only way that I think positive change is ever going to happen if you stick to that. And I think it's really true that life does shrink or expand in proportion to one's courage. And the more courageous that you are, I think that you will see not only your own life, I think, expanding into a really beautiful, amazing thing, but you'll see the world shrinking to be more close to you and to be more intimate with you, the more courageous that you are. And I cannot tell you what an amazing experience that is. And I wish that you guys could be in my shoes. I do. I wish you all could feel this. So, mission number 5, getting something. I don't know. Okay. Maybe getting started? Okay. So one of the things that you want to do is, if you're gonna try to make positive change through social media, you need to ignore the criticisms about social media. Now, none of us would do that because we're all totally pro social media. But I have had some people who really don't understand like the Twitter phenomenon. They're like, I don't get it. It's stupid. You say that you're like eating. I'm like, yeah, but I say other stuff too. So that's been hard too, because I have some friends who really aren't into this whole social media thing. Like they totally don't get it at all. They're like, pod camp? Like, do you have to like sit in pods? I don't understand. So I mean, this is sort of, like I don't really have to tell you guys this, but it's part of my spiel. Just ignore them and embrace social media, because none of this with the Secret Agent Now project would have ever happened if it hadn't been for social media. And for the actual real life human beings that are behind social media, yay, people. Also, don't be afraid to try all of the various platforms that are out there. So if you have a blog, awesome. Maybe get on Twitter. If you have a blog and Twitter, great. Maybe get on Facebook. And so on and so forth. So try to really get your message out there in every social media capacity that you can. Because I think earlier there were a couple sessions about how many people are reached. I think at the very beginning, maybe the opening speech was about how many people are reached through social media so quickly. This is the best way to do it. If you have something in your gut that you need to tell people about, and you are passionate about it, and you know that it's going to make a difference for the better of this world that we're all sharing, get on social media. Spread the word on every platform that you can. And also be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. I think that for me, like the Facebook thing it may not seem like a big deal to you guys, but I was like, hey, I'm not going on Facebook. That's uncomfortable. There's like a lot of stuff you have to read, and there's like things, and this farm, what's this farm? I don't understand this farm. I'm like, I mean, I want to be nice to animals, I'm a vegetarian, but like we can leave the pigs and the cows out of this, I don't understand. So it was really helpful for me to sort of, again, be courageous, step outside of the comfort zone. And also to be consistent. Now, I'm not so good at this, so I put it in today's program so that I would now have all of you to hold me accountable. Because I have to tell you, ever since this project became like international, I really do need like a separate administrative staff, because I can hardly do my day job and keep up with this project because I'm getting hundreds of emails nonstop. And it's hard for me to always post a mission every day, but I want to do that. So if you have a project that you're working on or a cause, try to be consistent. Try to set aside even like a half an hour each day. Treat it like a separate little job, but like a really fun job. And give yourself a half an hour a day to really devote yourself to that, to be consistent, to get your messages out on the social media sites, to take the photos that you need to take, to do the interviews that you need to do. And if you do it just a little bit each day, then it doesn't get as overwhelming, which is something I totally need to learn. Okay, so examples of, this was supposed to say, examples of the kindness movement on the internet. Has anyone ever heard of Operation Nice? I can't see your hands. Show them proud. Yes, okay. So Operation Nice, I think we're going to run out of time here, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. I was going to show you the Operation Nice website. But if you guys could jot these down, these websites, I think you'll really, really enjoy them. Operation Nice is headed by a woman named Melissa Morris Ivone. In Philadelphia, and she basically posts every day something that's really nice going on in the world, what people are doing for each other that's nice. And it's really inspirational, and I definitely recommend that you check it out. There's also another organization called It Starts With Us, and this is headed by my friend Nate St. Pierre. He's out of the Milwaukee area. He has probably like 13,000 maybe 30,000. I think I should get my figures checked. But he's got tons and tons of people who work together with him through various social media platforms. For 15 minutes a day, he gives them a mission. He said, this is going to take 15 minutes out of your day, and it's going to change the world. And it may be something as simple as, help a person cross the street. I mean, as kind of old-fashioned as that sounds. Or hold the door for someone. Or something a little bit bigger and more soul-affecting, like tell someone that you're sorry for something you did to them. So it's these simple acts that are free, right? They don't cost a lot of money. Anyone can do it. But imagine the profound impact that would have on our world if every day, for less than 15 minutes, we did one thing to help take care of each other. Pretty powerful. So that's sort of Nate's deal. And then Hug Nation is this really cool site that was started by a gentleman who has like pink hair, and he's totally part of the Burning Man movement. Yeah, and his grandfather, who is a Baptist preacher. Okay, so they're like total odd couple, and I love it. But the grandmother died, and so the grandson and the grandfather decided that they were going to get together, once a week, every Tuesday, and try to connect with each other and get closer, and also try to make a difference in the world. So they hang out in the grandfather's nursing home room, and they have a podcast where every Tuesday people from all over the world get online together and they hug. It's awesome. And Grandpa Caleb, the Baptist preacher, said that there is nothing more important than that in the world, than giving a hug to someone. I mean, think about that. When you hug someone, you're like, you are connected. Your hearts are aligned. It's pretty freaking powerful. So Hug Nation, check that out. Okay, so mission number 7, yo. I promise it looks so cool at home. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go out and do good. Because if you do, you will feel good. And I just want to end the formal part of my presentation by sharing with you one of my favorite quotes of all time. And it's by my girl, Mother Teresa. And the quote says, "If we are not experiencing peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to one another." Thank you. So we have maybe just like a couple minutes, because I know we're supposed to end at 3:45, but I would love to take questions for any of you guys who have them. You want to know, like, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you? I don't know. Go ahead. Anybody.
What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you?
Well, thanks for asking what the craziest thing is that's ever happened to me. Actually, in regards to the project, it's really funny. I get, a ton of emails. I've gotten, oh my gosh, thousands at this point, ever since the CNN interview. And I had one gentleman who wrote in, and he gave me his online website, his resume, other like various documents, and in the email it just said, please consider me for a relationship. And now I'm flattered. I really am. I'm very flattered. I am not available, however.
I'm sorry, I thought you would like that.
But I found all kinds of people who have who've sent me various almost marriage proposals, and a lot of military men who are asking me like if I'm available, which is very flattering. But yeah, people when they email me, they sort of open up their hearts to me, and I feel so incredibly unworthy, but really blessed that people are feeling moved by this. Now I guess it is sort of a movement. People want kindness. They want it so badly. They want our world to heal. And if they can do it for $5 or less, well, I think that they're going to do it. So, yes.
What are your next steps with the project?
My next step with the project is we're going to be working with a couple of wonderful people who are actually in this room on maybe turning it into a nonprofit. And I'm pretty scared. But again, I must be courageous, and I have to step outside of my comfort zone. But I'm really looking at seeing if we could maybe get this into schools, even elementary schools, high schools, middle schools. Do some sort of curriculum around kindness and how easy and how important it is. And when you think about it, every day you have the option to either do something cruel or do something kind. That option of kindness is always there. It's never going to go away. So it's always there. And I hope that that's what people will choose, because it's right there in front of us. And if we can teach kids to do that, I can't even imagine how great the world would be. Yes?
So I haven't heard your story at all before, so I do want to ask for examples. Do you want to just say 2 or 3 examples, or
Sure.
do you want me to?
Sure, no, a couple of examples of like missions that have happened. Yeah, so one of my favorite missions we did was actually with my number 2, Vivian, and we got a bunch of inspirational cards and gifts that had been donated from companies like Compendium and Quotable Cards. They're awesome. And we went to the Allegheny General Hospital Cancer Unit during a cancer expo, and we basically hijacked the place. We had probably 30 or 40 or 50 little gifts, and we left them all over the cancer expo, and we took pictures and we posted the mission online, and the responses that we got were so positive and so powerful because it was such a personal mission, because cancer affects everyone in some capacity, either directly or indirectly. No one is free from being touched by it. And so the emails that we were getting and the comments on the posts were so powerful. So that was one that we'll never forget, because it was intense. I've also, I've left quarters at laundromats for people to find, in a little box. I'll wrap it up. Just leaving like $5 somewhere, for someone to find. And my agents, I'm finding, are incredibly creative. People are coming up with some really cool ideas. Just recently, a lady left a $5 Target gift card and coupons for diapers in a changing station at Target, so that combined with the gift card and the coupons, the diapers would be free. So, can you imagine like a mother or a father who's paying a ton of money for diapers and getting just even one pack of diapers for free? And how easy that is for someone out in the world to do for someone else. So, but yeah, the missions keep pouring in, and I'm amazed at how articulate people are in their narratives, how creative they are, and how personally they're taking this. That's the thing. When I send out an email to someone who wants to be an affiliated agent, a lot of people, they write in and they're like, "Can you give me my mission?" No. I want people to understand that it's important that we start taking responsibility for our own acts of kindness. So I want people to get creative. I want them to think of something that's really personal. How can you extend kindness in a way that's personal to you, that will more than likely be incredibly personal to somebody else? It's not my job to tell you how to be kind. I think that you guys can all do that on your own. And yes, in the back?
We recently posted a mission where somebody responded at the airport, and I was curious if you get a lot of responses. But that was really a nice post.
Thank you. For those of you who couldn't hear that, the question was, do I often get responses from people who find the little gifts that are left around? And I don't get them too often, which is okay. I don't actually expect it. If someone wants to write in, that's fine. But I did have a mission recently where someone had left a little inspirational book in the Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. And I got this email one day from a guy who said, I work at the Schiphol Airport, and I'm a security guard. I woke up having a really bad day. I had to wake up at 3 in the morning to be at work. And subsequently, this was also the day that they arrested those 2 or 3 people at the Schiphol Airport for terrorist activity. So I'm getting this email the same day from a security officer from that same airport. And he said, I was having a really bad day. All the passengers were really grumpy. I hated it. And all of a sudden, I went on my break, and I found this little card sitting over by a computer, and it said, pick me up. So I did. And I opened it up, and inside there was a book that had all these inspirational quotes, and on the very front, the book said, "It's all going to be okay." And I hadn't even gotten the mission yet from the agent who did this. So I was like, oh, this is good. Okay. I'm going to wait for that mission to come in. And then a couple days later, I got the mission in an email, and I was like, oh, I can totally post these at the same time on the website. And it was such a hit, because in that moment, everyone saw the act of kindness, which is awesome, and then the way it affected the human being who found that act of kindness. And again, the world totally shrunk together. And the person who left it was actually an American from Florida who was traveling on business. So it was truly an international mission of kindness. So it was very powerful. Any other questions? Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you being here. I'm sorry I ran a few minutes over. Oh, one more question. Yeah.
It just occurred to me. So, do you have any agents in parts of the world, like the Middle East or parts of the world where there's a lot of conflict?
That's a really good question. The question was, do I have agents in parts of the world where there's a lot of conflict? And the answer is no. Most of my agents are from highly westernized countries where there's not as much conflict as the Middle East. But that may change. I hope it does change. And even if I don't get the agents directly, specifically, I'm hoping that the acts of kindness, like that movie Pay It Forward, right? You do something good for someone, and that person does something good for someone or two people, and it's this amazing ripple effect of everyone participating in this incredibly powerful movement. So maybe someone's going to do something in Kansas tomorrow that in 3 weeks is going to end up in the Middle East. We don't know. But I have hope. I have hope because I've been seeing the truly, truly good side of people through this project. So. Okay, guys. Thanks so much. I hope you had a good day. And sorry, thanks for bearing with me with my really awesome PowerPoint presentation.